they're special.
So there's all these books around. You know about books? Have you heard about these things?
I've heard of a few books.
You've heard a few books?
Yeah.
Do you prefer a book on paper or a book on sound waves?
I prefer a book on paper because I don't like most people's voices.
Oh my gosh.
That's a true thing about me.
Do you like long silent stretches or long loud stretches?
Long silent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing. So you wrote a book.
That's true.
A book of a bunch of stories. There's like
That's
a lot.
true.
There's a lot to it.
There's a lot to it.
So, did you like eat a lot of crystals or something? There's a lot of like. There's what is your term exactly for it? Geoeroticism?
Yeah, that's true.
What does that mean? Where does that come from?
Oh yeah, that means that there's a person and they are in love with a rock, and so then they have sex with a rock.
How do you have sex with a rock?
Well, if you believe in anything, anything can happen. Also,
not sharp ones?
Well, it could be sharp.
Could be sharp, yeah.
Some people like sharp things.
Sharp rocks. Okay. Do you have a favorite tasting rock?
Yeah, I think I like sandstone a lot.
Sandstone?
Yeah, I think it's nice.
Kind of gritty?
Yeah.
A little bit gritty.
I like it to be a little painful, I guess.
Like kind of like brushing your teeth.
That's true.
It is. Sandstone is the original toothbrush, I think.
Was it really?
I heard about that once.
Wow.
So if you were at the funeral for the last glacier, what food would you bring?
That's a great question, and one that no one has ever been brave enough to ask me. And I think that the food I would bring would be one single blueberry.
One single blueberry?
Yeah.
Does that have any particular poignant meaning between you and the glacier, or?
I think it's like a berry that you want a lot of, you know? It's really satisfying to eat so many. But to have only one, you have to think so much about it, and it's so small that in the end, you could forget how it tastes as you taste it. So I think it's like a very sad thing to eat alone. How was that?
It was a lot, there's a lot of different textures. There's some sharp stuff. I like when it does this.
Okay, yeah.
That's a pretty good way. It feels like it kind of form fits.
Well said.
Yeah, truly. So, let's see. What story was the hardest for you to write in your book? There's lots of. The horror of your book is all like pain and abuse and
That's
struggle
true.
against the self.
It's very
against
lighthearted.
Society.
It
Yeah,
feels really good.
So,
to read.
like, what were there any particular? Even the beginning story is like super stark and immediately introduces you to kind of the mood of the book, which is like people kind of being subjugated by the world around them.
That's really good. That's really nice. Yeah, that's true.
So, like, I don't know, where was the pain the most felt?
Oh, yeah. There's a story in the middle, and it's called Me and Mona on the Table. And that one was the worst one to write, I think, because it's two people who are in love. And except that it seems like one of them will always tell the other person that what they are looking at is not what they're looking at. And so that just sort of spirals and spirals. And that feels almost too personal to me.
Sure.
That feels horrible to have anyone read it ever. But I guess I sort of blacked out and included it in the collection. And there it is, just like the worst set of relationships I've ever had. It's like one story.
In one book?
Yeah, it's really
story.
Wretched. Yeah,
Wow.
It's really bad.
I love that.
I
love that. Thank you for sharing that with
Yeah, of
everyone.
course. Yeah, good. Yeah.
There's lots of like hard relationship stuff in
Yeah.
your book. I was pretty captivated by, I'm pretty sure it's the last story with like the obelisk basilisk situation going on.
Yeah.
And that reminded me a lot of House of Leaves a little bit. There's that middle section of House of Leaves where it's like,
oh my God, yeah,
just totally obscure. So like, what was actually going on? Were you actually like describing someone getting into and eating someone's uterus?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
For sure. And I think also to write it out in legible language like that, to say like, then I crawled inside this person and ate their uterus, is like sort of dishonest actually, because that feels so clear. And so I was trying to figure out what the sound of it would be if your reality were fracturing, and that's about as close as I could get. But I love that you mentioned that book, because in my high school, I went to a Catholic all-girls high school, which is laughable in and of itself. And we all passed around this one copy of House of Leaves, like secretly, like we had to like hide it from everyone, and then sort of like slip it into each other's arms in between classes and read sections of it. And it was like such a fetishized object at the end of that year. So that's funny that you brought that up.
It kind of has that like very high schooly, easy to fetishize in that
for
section.
Sure.
Kind of like
so dazzling.
Chuck Palahniuk or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I met him when I was like 8.
Really? What was he like?
Super weird.
Super weird.
Yeah, super weird.
Super weird. All right, beautiful. I've been shuffling these tarot cards for a while.
Okay, great.
Will you pick 3?
Okay.
Oh, God.
Okay, are these, did I pick them for you or for me?
I don't know. So this one is for you. Oh, sorry. This one is for you.
Okay.
This one is for me. Okay. This one is for Wiley, the camera operator.
Oh, great. Okay, well, I hope you're ready. Great.
So what does this mean to you? What does it look like?
Is this for, I'm reading it for myself?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll show it. Is that right? Here. Now you can all see it. That's nice.
That would be the 4 of Wands.
That's the 4 of Wands. Yeah. Is it?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Wands are really straight. Wands are like man magic.
Okay, wow.
And swords are like curvy, because violence is like curvy or something.
Wow.
Curvaceous violence.
That's true. Okay.
Can we get some water?
Or a tub?
I would take a bath.
I think I'm ready for the bath.
Okay, so
Okay, 4 of Wands. Great. I think if I'm thinking of this for myself, then I think that it means that something that I own is about to break.
Wow.
And it'll be a long journey to fix it.
Oh my gosh. Well, that is not promising. So this one for Wiley is the Valet de Dernier.
Wow.
That is the Prince of Money. Prince of Money? Hey! Wiley really knows where it's at. He knows about collective bargaining. Wiley is a union man. I've always worked in restaurants, so I've never felt close enough or like I had enough power to argue as a union. But Wiley is very about that life and inspirational to that point. Yeah. So, Prince of Union Money. And then for me is the Popess.
Wow, La Popess.
The Lady Pup.
The Lady Pope. The Lady Pope. Good, yeah, good.
Lady Pup. Lady Pup, I think that's a pretty good one, self-explanatory. So, great. Let's see. You just went on a summer tour.
That's true.
With the Blaspheming Boys Tabernacle Choir.
Yeah.
Tell me your favorite city that you played. Or town.
I loved Silver City, New Mexico.
Silver City, New Mexico.
It's so small, and to get there you have to go through the Gila Wilderness, and it's like some of the oldest mountains in North America, and they're so tangibly haunted. And so you have to wind through, and you get really sick with how much you're winding, and then you arrive at this town, and we played in this place that should have had no one there, and it was full of people, and all of them were poets, and all of them were interested, and also half of them were queer elders. They were like people who were just coming out of the woodwork because we'd billed ourselves as a queer band. And so that was incredible. And then we stayed with these 2 people who knew a lot about labor rights in Silver City. And there's this film that's about Silver City and the miners and how they struck. There's like this big strike in the 20s, and it was so interesting. And the making of the film is interesting. And so anyway, that was a wild place. And then when we left, it felt like something sort of just shimmered out of view again. It's very interesting.
You got a glimpse behind the veil.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool as hell. Beautiful. Yeah.
That kind of leads me into, I guess, my last real question for you is talk about your favorite kind of wilderness and why?
My favorite kind of wilderness. My favorite kind? Like the best one?
Well, okay,
Or like
so
the one-
that's,
yeah,
that's
what-
super black and white.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
what
yeah,
is a
yeah.
wilderness that you
Okay, yeah.
feel like you need to go to yearly or
okay.
most often?
Okay, yeah. Great. Good question. Solid question. There's one cave that is in Arkansas that I have sat in front of every year for the last 5 years, which is unusual because I don't often do things like that.
Yeah.
And I don't live in Arkansas, so I have to drive
Just
to get
sit
there.
in front of the cave?
Yeah, yes. And I couldn't tell you why exactly, except that it feels like a warm mouth. So,
That's beautiful. Okay. I have 2 more questions. The smell...
you're doing a great job.
Thank you. The smell of your lover's piss or their sweat?
Piss. Smell of piss. Unusual smell. Changes.
Changes.
Seasonally. Depending on what people are eating, depending on what you're...
Dietationally?
Yeah. No, it's quite... Yeah, that's got to be the one.
Okay. And then how do you take your coffee?
With a lot of honey.
A lot of honey. Milk or of any kind?
Sometimes milk. Sometimes cream.
milk.
But always a lot of honey.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Carter Hogan, for coming
Thank
on
you.
God Mourning America.
Thank you.
Check out Carter's book, One or Several Deserts.
That's right.
That's the one. That's the title of the book. Read it as you're traveling, hopefully. I read it while traveling. You should too. We all should. And yeah, I'll see you in the future.